Yo, what's going on? It's Halsey here. I'm on my boat, of course. So I thought I'll show you what's going on. 1 week living on a houseboat. It's day 8 today. Didn't do too much on the houseboat today. It was a windy, sort of cold day. Got the captain's hat. It's nice being a captain of your own vessel. Very different living on a houseboat. Would I do it again? Absolutely. Peaceful, serenity, waking up in the morning, having coffee on the back deck. The ins and outs, no neighbours, nothing really noisy, just the birds, just all that sort of stuff. Yeah, look, we bought a houseboat and it was a project. Well, it just needed refurbished, basically, cleaned up, tidied up. There was an older gentleman, they had that boat for a long time. All the bones were good. So I could see through all that sort of stuff. So would I suggest it for other people to maybe buy themselves a houseboat to live in? Absolutely, I would. Definitely. Is there a lot you have to know? Yes. There's lots I don't know. There's lots I'm learning every day. I didn't even know how to use a toilet on a boat. So I had to learn how to use a toilet on a boat. So that's one thing. There's so much, and every day being a captain of your own vessel that you learn every day. The maintenance side, how things run, the 12-volt system, the 240-volt system, how the hot water works, how the normal water works. There's just so much to learn, how the boat locks up, how the boat sways, how it handles in, even when it's moored up to the bank, how it handles a windy day and like storms, pissing down with rain days. Like, there's so much you have to learn. And it's only been 1 week, so yeah, that's a bit of a brief about that sort of stuff. What else can I say? It's totally different lifestyle. You got to have sort of, I don't know, like water legs, I suppose, because I still every day when I go out, I get a little bit wish-washy when I'm going out to places after like staying on the boat and you're living on the boat. Everything's more compact on a boat, definitely more compact. So it's like having a 2-bedroom unit, I will say, or 2-bedroom apartment. You got a front deck, you got a back deck, you got all your stuff, you got your 2 bedrooms in our case. You got a shower, you got your toilet, but it's just, you have to, learn to live in a smaller environment, basically. You know what I mean? Your lounge room's pretty small, your bathroom's pretty small, your toilet's totally different than a normal house toilet. The way that you cook is different too, you know what I mean? So it's just smaller, more compact. But at the same time, if it's just, yourself, your missus, or a small family, it's definitely capable of, living your lifestyle, staying on the boat, living on the boat. There's a difference between having a mooring site and having power and water connected to your boat than it would be if you had a boat and you were floating down the river and you're going to different destinations. There's different costs involved with all that sort of stuff too. For us, it's just mooring fee at the moment, so we pay a yearly mooring fee, which is around $3,000, and then we get every 3 months get a water bill and electricity bill. So compared to if you're motoring down the river, there you go, the good old saying. If you're motoring down the river, you have to have a good sufficient battery system, good sufficient solar system, a nice generator. You'll have to have fuel aboard, make sure you know where you're going to go, you know how you're going to tie up at night times. Your safety aspect is a lot more wild if you're cruising down the river as well. So yeah, there's a lot more into it. So there's 2 different styles of lifestyles having a houseboat. So we're living the moored sort of lifestyle, I suppose you can call it, on our houseboat, compared to someone who's buying a houseboat and doesn't have a mooring site, and they just free flow down the river, pull up to wherever they like, and they can stay on the side of the river. So, and it's both different living aspects, so they have to definitely like bank more food, bank more petrol, bank more supplies for their journey, let's say that, compared to us. Like 1 kilometre down the road there's a local food land, 1 kilometre down the road there's a local shopping centre. So you got to keep all that sort of stuff in aspect and in mind. Cost wise, well, you know, like we've paid like, you know, in the 70s all up for our boat, with the mooring, which is nice. It's a bit of a diamond in a rough because it's very hard to get, you know, but you know, if you look out there, there is some out there that you can find, that there is for sale. I know there's a couple in the next town up for near the $100,000 mark. You know, there are smaller 2-bedroom boats, so there's definitely, you know, for a small family who's trying to save up and that, I'm not sure how you go about getting finance on a houseboat. I have heard you need 50% deposit to get a loan for that. We paid cash for ours, so you know, that's one beauty about the aspect of it, that we own it. We don't own the mooring, we lease it off the council. There is some technicalities in there too, that you know, your boat has to be registered, your boat has to be insured. You have to have public liability insurance, $20 million. You've got to abide by all the council laws. There's no bin, you know, so you have to figure all that sort of stuff out. Compared to if you're just drifting down the river, well, there's no cost realistically, except for the cost of living. So you'll have to have a better system, better setup, as I said. There's always maintenance going on, I suppose, like in my perspective, because we bought it as a project. So the bones are all good, but we definitely need some work. So I work on it every day. So you'll see it over the next, I don't know, 20, 30, 40, 50 videos, trying to get it ready, because like I said, I like to get it ready for New Year's and enjoy the boat. Yeah, so I thought I'll sit down and didn't do a real video and didn't do much today because we'll work locally. I've got two little things that I do, so that's why today was a day off. So it was nice to have a day off. So thank everyone too for your support and comments and likes and watching the videos. It's means a bit. So if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe and tell people and all that, because it in the future, I can see it, becoming a better market. The average price to get a 2-bedroom unit in town now is $300,000. So if you can get a little 2-bedroom houseboat for $100 or $150, which is half price, there's good opportunities there for young families and young couples, especially, to buy a houseboat, and you can definitely live on it. You can have your life, and it's a good life, man. Yeah, it comes with the weather and the conditions, and you have to get used to it, and it's different. But yeah, there's definitely opportunity there for the right people. Is it for everybody? I don't know. Maybe not. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. You know what I mean? Like, don't be scared to give it a go. I didn't know nothing about boating. I do have a speedboat and I've got jet skis and that, but as a houseboat, no. I've only hired it and gone on family holidays, and so it was definitely something we looked into, and go for gut feeling. If it's meant to be, do it and go for it. So yeah, alright, this is the cockpit, just sitting here with all that, watching a bit of TV. So I haven't really showed you how you sort of live, got the light on and stuff like that. So yeah, this is it. This is how it rocks. Let's see, I got KFC for dinner, so treated. That's it. Bedroom. There's a little kitchen, You got the second bedroom, used for a bit of storage these days. Got your bathroom, So, and then of course you got the main part, which is the outside deck, You can't beat it. Just the niceness of it all. Sitting out here, got little table and chairs and stuff, so. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. So, not for everybody, but look, if you're in a market and you're saving up and you're thinking, how am I going to get into the housing market? How am I going to get a house when, a little 2-bedroom unit in town's $300,000? Look, save your money. Even if you can get half a loan, like if you can save $50,000 and you can get a personal loan or whatever, bank loan or a boat loan or whatever you can get from the bank to buy yourself a houseboat, a little 2-bedroom. Do it all up and all that. Well, at least it holds its money, you know what I mean, or hold its value. Try to get one that's registered and has been slipped. I think the two that I was talking about before for the $100,000, pretty sure they're both registered, and I'm not sure about slipping. But look, that can be negotiated in the price when you buy it. So yeah, that's it. So I'll keep this short and sweet, this one. I thought I'll just talk about all the stuff, basically generally about how it's been for me for the last week. I'll go out the front. Show you what's happening out there. So yeah, this is it. Nice front deck, little lights. It is what it is. That's it. Living on a houseboat. So thanks all for tuning in, and I'll keep the videos coming when I can do them. So we'll have to work all week, so the videos will slow down, but I try to do as much as I can and show people the lifestyle and doing it all up and everything like that. Got nothing to hide. So from us and the Waterbird houseboat, take it easy and thanks for watching. Ciao.